Tina Stitches. Welcome to my channel. Today is Sunday, May 15th. It is a gray, rainy day. I do have the ring light set up. Normally I have it set up behind the camera, but reflects on the glasses, so tried it from the side today, so we'll see how that goes. I also have my curtains are open, so neighbors, whatever, they should be inside anyways. It's raining. So, yeah, lots, not torrential downpours of rain, but because we've had quite a bit of snow this winter, and it took a long time for it to start to melt, we are now having pretty bad flooding situations going on. Yeah, there are some communities that have been completely cut off for days because the road has been washed out, the only way in and out to their community. That hasn't happened to us yet, but I don't think that it's going to take, if it was to happen, they would be on it right away, because we're on a very minor highway, but there are 3 more reserves beyond where I am, so they have to use that highway to get there. So I don't think it would be a very big interruption if there was trouble on that highway. They would be on it right away. So, I mean, there's actually one spot where they have started construction replacing a culvert because it looked like it was about to fail on a bad spot. So they do have the road crews out replacing that culvert down to 1 lane, traffic monitoring and all of that stuff. So yeah, yeah, the rain, it's been drizzling, but there's lots of rushing water out of the bush. It's crazy. So anyways, I have quite a bit to show you. It's only been a week, but I've worked on my dryer is saying it's done already, but I don't believe it. Anyways, yeah, I've worked on about 10 projects. 9 projects in 7 days. 2 of them, okay, one of them was a new start that I forgot to show you last week, and that's my bad. So that I didn't work on this week, but I have it here to show you so that you can see it, because it's a Maynia start. I am doing my own version of Maynia, and it keeps me from going crazy. I am not doing 15 or 20 or 30 new starts. I am just doing 5 new starts, very similar to Dina at Half Stitch Cross Stitch. She's doing a new start every Monday. I'm doing a new start on Sunday because that's my day off. So, and I am going to continue my Monday Mayhem or something like that. I will maybe make a hashtag for it, see if something's available. But I think I'm going to take I said this in my last video, I'm going to take my Maynia projects and work on them the Mondays following Maynia. So every Monday I'll work on a Maynia piece, unless it's beading, because that's not easy to do in a evening sit down relax situation. Especially, I mean, if it's 28 count, easy to do, okay, fine. I did manage that with Crystal Christmas. But that was 28 count white cashel linen. The beading that I am approaching is on 32 count Nocturne Belfast hand-dyed linen by Picture This Plus. It's not easy. It's a bit of a chore, so I think I might do a trade for Sundays for those particular projects, but we'll see. You know, it's in the works. So I'm going to show you. I'm also doing the Blimey Cat method of Maynia, where I am working on my previous May projects on the anniversary of their start. And the first one in this week lineup is Blitzen. I started Blitzen in 2017, I want to say. My first year doing Maynia, I started all of the reindeer and the sleigh all on one big piece that I cut of 32 count Nocturne Belfast linen. Here's where it was when you last saw it, I think. I think I have a picture, and here it is now. So I'm pretty sure that bit of ribbon wasn't done. And I worked on more of the browns to finish that off. And maybe some of the ribbon over here. I'm pretty sure this was only up to here, so that got finished. This is only one night. And the head is starting to appear here. So this is one of the ones that is at the still stitching the X's stage. Most of these Christmas Eve couriers are at beading stage. So this morning I decided I just need to kit everything up in little. I took all of the charms and beads that I did have, because I've been, you know, picking up one or two charms here and there, and so I put them in baggies with the name of the pattern and what is left to get. And everything that I have needs more. I'm not surprised. I steal from my stash all the time for other projects, so I know I didn't even have all of the beads and stuff for this when I started it. It was one of those kit it gradually projects. So that is what I stitched on the 9th. That was the anniversary. On the 10th, Santa's Sleigh, also part of the Christmas Eve couriers, also started 2017, my first Maynia. And here's where it was when you last saw it. And here's where it's at now. And again, snail needle minder from Denkai Designs, because slow poke. And I worked on the reds again and brought this over. And there was more of this dark gray to do. That's where that's at. So those both got their 1 day worth of work. And that's all of the Christmas Eve couriers that are still in progress. My next Maynia pulled back out of the whip pile is, it's also, was this a Maynia start? Pretty sure this was a Maynia start last year. I'm not sure when. But this is also a whip go piece. So I'm working on this mainly for whip go. And it happens to be a Maynia piece as well. This is Adia the Garden Fairy by Mirabilia. In case you haven't noticed, I do have a thing for Mirabilia. So this is being stitched on a very different fabric. And I can never remember the name of it, and of course, Huntress. 32 count Huntress Belfast linen by Picture This Plus. Here's where it was when you last saw it. And here it is now. So I put it in the Q-snap in a position so I could reach this, and I stitched as far up as I could before I would have to readjust it in the Q-snap. And then I came down. This, I was about here, and it's the page break, so I worked below that. And all of that blank space is for beads. And this has been 2 more evenings this week on this. And the lighting, that's not too bad. It's very purpley wine red kind of color. Kind of matches this bag. But that's not the bag for it. And I was kind of in a panic this morning. Not this morning, but since I started that, I've been a little bit concerned that I'm not going to get all the treasures required for it, because it's an out of print pattern, I believe, and the charms, etc., have been rumored to be discontinued. So I hummed and I hawed, and today I decided I'm going to get those charms while I can. Went on to 123. They all seem to be available, so I ordered all of them, because there's quite a few actually. So yeah, looking forward to those coming in. I was just looking to see, because when I was looking through my Christmas Eve couriers, the treasures that I had already purchased for that, I have an extra treasure and it's not on this list. I was hoping it would be, but it's not. So the next Maynia recall from the whip pile is one that I started on the 13th of May last year, because that is my sister's birthday, which of course was 2 days ago. Happy birthday. And she is, or was, not so much anymore, but she was a big fan of butterflies. Everything was butterfly, butterfly, butterfly. And so this makes me think of her. This is Queen Mariposa by Mirabilia. And this is the one that's in the butterfly bag. Here's where it was when you last saw it. And here it is now. This is 32 count Zephyr linen by Picture This Plus. I did go on a little bit of a spree with Picture This Plus. And so I've basically just been working my way down. None of this red was here. I was kind of surprised when I pulled it out of the pile, and is that right? I had to look at the picture again, and yep, we're into the red part. There are a lot of beads in that bodice. So it was very hard to figure out where to go next, because you want to just pick that color and go there, but that's a bead. It's just lots of beads. And I'm doing the skin 2/2 because I don't mind it at all. Queen Mariposa. So, my next whip, not a Maynia start, and this one is a whip go piece. So 3 numbers were called. I'm a newbie at whip go, and I put 3 projects in. My goal for whip go is 22 hours on that project in the month that it's called, or after. I can keep going on it afterwards, but I'm not tallying the hours before. So for instance, Queen Mariposa, it's on my whip go board, but the time that I put into it now, I am not counting towards that. That's just me. But Riolis kit, my Riolis Biscornu was one of the numbers that was called, but it's already finished right there. This one. So I lucked out there. But the 3rd number that was called And I don't remember the numbers or the order they were called in, but the last number called for Whip Go is my Owl Forest Alice in Wonderland Sal. I am behind. I need to get caught up. And this is where I am. And I'm pretty sure these motifs are a stitch too high. I only discovered that when I was stitching his ears, and it didn't line up where it should have been to this motif on the chart. I'm not going to move those motifs. That is fully stitched in. And all I'm going to do is, when I come in from the other side, I will, because I still have to do this repeat on this side of the chart, and then come across the table with all of the little doodads, teapot and sleeping dormouse and stuff. But I just have to remember not to count off of this because it's wrong. And another reason I placed that 1, 2, 3 order is because of this thread. This is what really prompted the order. It's like, well, what else do I need? So Adia, get in her charms. So this, like I said, my Whip Go goals are 22 hours or a finish. I mean, I can't do much more beyond that. This one, I just have it prompted for a finish, because I figure that's about all that there is left on it. And this was going to be my sunroom project until it's finished. We've sat in the sunroom a total of 2 days. 2 days. Yeah. This next project is my lunchtime project. Just a little project that I take to work and force myself to take a break from work, stitch on something. Alice used to be that project, actually. But it's a little bit big and cumbersome, so I had switched it out for something tiny and not so cumbersome. And this is Shepherd's Bush, the Shepherd's Scissor Fob. It says, "My scissors I'll keep like a shepherd his sheep." Here's where it was when you last saw it. And here it is now. So I really don't have a whole lot more to go. There is some back stitching down here, a little bit of back stitching up here. There's a specialty stitch up here and a couple little flowers on the side. And then a charm, which I should have looked for when I was on 1, 2, 3. But I didn't think of it. That's okay. I'll find something. Even if I find a little, maybe I'll do a little 1/1 sheet. Something to think about. Came fully kitted, except for the sheep charm. So that made it easy for me to start. Now, these next two projects, I feel like I'm missing one. There's something wrong here. I am missing. Am I? No, it's right here. Okay. These next two projects are new whips that I started for Maynia. The first one I started on the first Sunday of May, which was May, was it the 1st? Yeah, May 1st. And I started it on 32 count Nessie Belfast linen by Picture This Plus. See, the thing is, I was trying to find a perfect fabric for a mermaid, so that's why I got this one and Zephyr and a few others. But I haven't started a mermaid yet. But this is my start for Rose Quaker by Stickadien van der Wissenberg. This is a black and white printout. It's charted to go on a more vanilla latte type fabric, but I have been inspired to do it on this with a conversion to Victorian motto sampler threads, which I bought specifically for this. And the first color that I'm using is a Leo and Roxy Peach It, because it was the closest to the called for. And this is 1 strand over 2, and I'm really liking how that's turning out. So I started it pretty tight to the corner because I'm a very frugal person. And even though this is a very large piece, I would rather it take up a half of it, or a little more than half, and then I have a good chunk left, instead of it taking up a weird 3/4 cut L-shaped leftover thing. So that's why I started it there. I did a small start, and then I realized I probably should have started it halfway down and in 3 inches, and then counted up. I might still do that. That's how I do my HAEDs. I have an Earth Designs huge ass epic projects, because if the count is off, for instance, this is dyed, so it's shrank. So technically I should have more than enough, because it's still cut at 26 inches, and I did my math somewhere here. It's cut 26 inches and I need 20. So Yeah. It should fit, but I'm very hesitant to say it will fit. So I think I'm going to get out my pins and start counting. But I'm loving that already. And that's Leon Roxy, not Victoria Sampler. I do hope I have enough, at least for that motif. And maybe another one, because, well, I am stitching at one strand. That'll make the threads go farther. So that is my first new start. My second new start is one that I started on Mother's Day with Kim from Stitch and Stuff. And this is the Dimensions Kit Simplicity Vintage. It's a I want to say a replication of a simplicity pattern, sewing pattern from 50s, 60s. Pattern number 1452. I wonder if we could look that up and see when this pattern actually existed. I did change out the kit fabric. I'm not a fan of kit Ada. I'm not a huge fan of Ada. I will try it, but then I didn't like it on my last one, and I pulled out the Ada on this one, and I was like, I'm not gonna like this. And here I am. This is 28 count Monaco from my stash, just off-white Monaco, and I started in the center. Actually, I believe the center is down here, and I worked my way up and through, and this is I believe it's 3 shades of blue, and I worked down. I only worked on the one page, and I'm just like parking it where they would start on the next page. I did go down on one here. I brought it down a little bit just as a reference point. But yeah, so that would be this part of the dress here. I really like it, and that's why I left it on the Q-snap, so I can pick it up again. The only thing that I did not consider when I was planning this was I do not have any working copies. So I am working off of the original. Dimensions patterns are difficult to make working copies because they are color. But there is a place in town that does color copies. So I may try to get in there. And I know Kim has taken her colors off of the cards and bobbinated them. I'm okay leaving them on the card. That's it for the colors. So this is manageable for me. So I'm thinking we need to come up with a day of the month that we should just do this, and I'm considering every second Sunday. Only because that's when Mother's Day happened to happen. So every other Sunday, once a month, doesn't sound too horrible. We'll see if I can stick to that. So, I believe we made it through all of the whips. Works in progress. And now I have more. Only a little bit more. So my start for tonight, which has been, I've been humming and hawing about starting this one right now because my son bought me this, and he bought it fully kitted, which is fantastic. Like, fully kitted. Not a kit. Not, you know, the dimensions. That's all the thread you need. Like, these are full skeins of DNC, Krynic, braid. The beads did come with the pattern. 2 large pieces of fabric for this little project. So the problem that I have is I'm very frugal. I'm very frugal when it comes to fabric. I don't want to cut those big pieces he got me because they can be used for something else because they're a really good size. So I went into my stash and I looked for alternatives. I know, based on this little piece of felt, this actually gets folded in at the end, but that is basically all I need for the brown. This is how much I got. And the white, it calls for a 7x7 square. And this is how much I got. So I went looking for scrap. I do have a piece of off-white linen with another kit, but I didn't want the off-white. I don't know. But I did find another piece of fabric, which I didn't have slated for anything else. And I thought, well, there's no reason why the mouse can't be gray. And this is a weird cut. And so I thought, I can use this. I only need to use an end of it for the mouse. And my Alice in Wonderland piece, this, is on a piece of 30, I believe this is 32 count. I never did actually count it, but I'm pretty sure it's 32 count. And at the very bottom of it, look, I have a scrap of fabric, which is probably the right size for the rest of the piece, which when it's unrolled is this. That should fit down there. No problem. Well, we have it undone. There you go. That wasn't finished, but it is now. And yeah, that's about it. The soldiers. Anyways, so that's going to be the bottom. This scissor roll is going to be from that fabric, and the mouse is going to be from this fabric. But this is 28 count, that's 32 count. The mouse itself is (27 by 51). That makes the mouse on 32 count. It would be 1.6 by 3.1. On 28 count, it would be 1.9 by 3.6. I'm not going to get into the fractions. So the difference in size, I drew it out. That's the difference in the stitching size. So I'm going to stitch it anyways. On the 28 count, it's going to be take up the space of that, and then once it's assembled, we'll see just how awkwardly it is compared to the scissor roll on the other fabric. And if it's too weird, I'll just make another one, or not. They don't have to be sitting on it. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm probably going to go through my stash and not eat these up with this project. I mean, B5200, I already have a skein used. 930, I definitely have bobbinated. 702, yeah, I know I have a lot of these already bobbinated, so I'm gonna do that and start this on this piece of gray, which I can't remember what it's called, but it's printed fabric. I believe it's, you know what, I'm not gonna tell you what I think it is, because I could be completely wrong. I don't even have a tag for it. It's printed fabric. That's all I know. I don't think it's by Fabric Flare, because they have their information along the side edge of it on the selvage, and that's the selvage edge, and there's no information printed. So I'm thinking, is it Weeks? Is it Weeks Dye Works that does printed fabric? Anyways, I'm gonna work on a mouse. That's tonight's project, and once again I need to get a working copy made. That's all the whips. And now I have a little bit of haul. I'm in the Leo and Roxy Floss of the Month Club. I get the neutrals and the brights. I signed up for 3 months, so this is the last. So I don't know if I will be automatically enrolled in the next 3 months, or if I have to tell them, if I have to go on and actually say yes or no. Honestly, I love getting a new package every month, but I need to consider my budget. I've mentioned that before, and I've talked about the Black Needle Society and suspending my account there, and then I got a notification that there's a box on the way. So apparently suspending I have to do each and every month, but that's okay. I'll try to remember to suspend it again. So these are the brights. A little bit washed out yellow there, but bright pink, lime green. So we got Peeps, Flubber, Do the Wave, Thistle, and Oob. Oob. That's the brights. I haven't opened these at all yet. And these are the neutrals. Really deep, dark purple there. And that one is Duchess. And then we got Jeté, which is like a flesh, like a really pale flesh. Salmon, which to me doesn't really look salmon. This one looks more salmon than that one. And this one is Oink. And this one is Obsidian. I believe I've heard them talk about Obsidian on Modern Folk Embroidery pattern. Was it the penguin? So those are my new boxes. I will be putting these into my collection and looking for something to stitch with them. I may throw a couple of them into my Rose Quaker. The green is a little bit bright. That one's a little bit bright. This blue one is nice, but I don't know. I don't know if there's any place for me to put a blue. We'll see. We will see. It's too bad that there wasn't a yellow that would replace my honeycomb. That would have saved me an order. Anyways, I'm sure this is a very long video already. If you've stuck around, that's great. I do need to remind a couple of people that they need to get a hold of me for gift certificates. I did a giveaway 3 videos ago. It's the one where I'm with Kim and Sarah, and that's where I did the draw for my 5-year Flosstube anniversary. And 3 people have reached out to me. I'm still waiting to hear from 2. And I did put a comment on your comment. It may have went into your junk folder. I mean, if you don't want it, it's saving me money, but I'd really like to say thank you. So go and check your comments from my Flosstube anniversary and see if you're a winner. Check out that video. It was so much fun. It was 2.5 hours long. That one you definitely need to space it out into like 4 or 5 sittings. So anyways, I'm gonna go. I have a lot to put away here, and I need to get started on that mouse and do some dishes and laundry and vacuum. I really need a vacuum. Yeah, speaking of vacuuming, I really need to trim the dog. She's getting warm, and it's tough to trim her when it's cool outside. You feel horrible, but then she's like, I'm gonna sleep on the floor because it's way too hot in here. So yeah, but the meds seem to be doing good. So yeah, I am going to just remind you to take care of yourself. It's May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Candy, the 614 Stitcher, and a few other people are doing mental #mental-health May, something like that. Check out her channel. She's very informative on some various mental health issues. I'm not immune. Everybody has problems and need to cope, etc. Anyways, I am going to say goodbye now. I think I've said everything that I have to say. Wait a minute. I didn't show you a whip. I'm horrible. I'm looking at it. It's right there. Everybody that watches is probably like, what? She didn't work on it? That's not real. That can't be happening. Oh my God. Beloved by Heaven and Earth Designs. I've shown this project in almost every single video since day 1. How could I not show it? Ugh. Here it is. So, over 1,500 stitches done this week, and mostly, well, this area, of course, I'll lose my pin here. And this area here, I believe, yeah, during the week, I had decided to work from one of these high points and start bringing it down. And I believe it was in this area here that I was bringing it down. And then I was working this area over. There was a stitch. Get this in frame, silly. So there was a stitch over here that was parked, similar to this. And it was like, okay, it's too far away to do anything. So I highlighted it to figure out, well, where is the rest of these stitches? And it turns out, so I had it parked, let's say here. And the next 5 stitches, there was 2 over here. So I did those. And then I snipped it. There's 2 stitches over here somewhere, so I did those. And there's 1 stitch over here somewhere. Where is it? 1 stitch there. You know what? Oh, there they are. There's 2 stitches there and 1 stitch up here. That color is now complete. There are no more stitches of the little M to do. And I am also at another milestone in that I have reached 92.5%. So 7.5% left to do. At the current pace, I'm still on track to have it finished early September. I would like to have it finished mid-August because that's when I have another giant HAED planned, but I don't know if I can push that one that much unless I take it to evenings. Anyways, now I believe I did show you everything. My plans are More Beloved, Mouse, Adia, and Queen Mariposa, because it's my sister's birthday month. And that's really it. Next week there is another new start planned, but that's for next week. So until then, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Yeah. Happy stitching. Bye.